Good evening, Simon here, Explosive Action, back with another Blu-ray movie update. Quite the piles here yet again, so let's get into it. Before we get into the movies, I want to show you a book that came in just yesterday. I've literally had no time to look into it, but I'm very, very excited to have this one. Pre-order went up a little while ago, and Australian Amazon actually shipped it on time, on a Sunday. This is the Canon Film Guide Volume Number 2, covering 1985 to 1987. If it's not in here, I think Canon didn't do it. This is exceptional. I mean, look at the cover art. You all know Canon films. If you're watching this update, there's a good chance you know Canon films. A lot of it is covered in here. I think this area here has got some of the best stuff in it. There's the back, big hardcover edition. Nice Canon spine logo up there. And take a quick look at the chapters. We get pretty much every Canon film reviewed from The Ambassador on page 3 all the way through to I think it was three kinds of heat, and it's got lots of interviews as well. I mean, you've got take a quick look here. We've got Melody Anderson is being interviewed. Bill Moseley is interviewed. I wonder if I flick to the James Bruner, screenwriter for Invasion USA, he's been interviewed. Yes, Michael Dudikoff, Sam Furstenberg. Man, this is going to be a really, really good read. It's just, it's quite simply put together, just text and imagery, black and white photos, posters and things. This is a content-heavy book. I'm really excited to have it. Volume 2. This is Volume 1 for reference. I've had this for about a year or so. There's the two of them together. Make a nice little set there on the shelves. This first one was just over 500 pages. This thing is nearly 1,000. It's like 995 pages or something. Absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, Canon Film Guides, Volume 2, 1985-87 from Austin Trunick. Awesome, awesome stuff. We're going to start the update off with some potentially explosive action. Most probably a couple of duds. Doesn't matter. I'm in for the long haul. This is the next Bruce Willis film. Fortress, Sniper's Eye. This is Fortress 2. Unrelated to the films from the 90s, nothing to do with them, and also completely unrelated to the Australian film from the 80s. But it's kind of got that futuristic imprisonment deal that the 90s Fortress has, I suppose. A little bit in there, but anyway, I haven't seen this one yet. It is supposed to be the second out of a trilogy, but when I looked at IMDb recently, the third film seems to have been scrubbed from Bruce's upcoming films, because as we know, he's given up acting because of his ailment, which is a real shame. I mean, we can make all the jokes we like about how he's been just doing 2-minute roles in these films, and potentially it's exactly the same deal in this. I don't know. Probably a supporting actor to Jesse Metcalfe and Chad Michael Murray. They're obviously going to be, there's the rest of them there. They'll be owning the film, and he'll be along for the ride for a short period of time, I'm sure. Sometimes I'm surprised. I doubt it though. So anyway, Sniper's Eye, Second Fortress, very, very bland looking slip. Nothing exciting there. We got the first film on Blu-ray out here, and then Roadshow dumped the second one on DVD. And yeah, I don't do that. I'll do DVD if that's the only way you're going to do it. But don't break it up mid-series. Come on. Anyway, Fortress, Sniper's Eye. We'll see how we go with that one. Another Bruce. This one, oh my god, the cover on this. I don't know. Corrective Measures. Look at that cover. Now it screams some kind of comedy to me, obviously. I mean, you've got this green monster thing here, you've got Michael Rooker in that hat, all of this laughing and screaming. Again, it's a prison film. It doesn't read like it's a comedy. It talks about it being more of a superhero film with supervillains. So, maybe they're going for an Avengers kind of thing here on the $2 budget. I don't know. Umbrella actually put this out. They put out Apex. Apex has got to be one of the worst of the modern Bruce films. That was a COVID film where, he's not on the same set as everyone else, and it really, really badly showed. I really hope Corrective Measures is not the same, because he could do better than that. I know, some of these later films haven't been brilliant, but he can do better than Apex, that's for sure. And, we'll see what we get with Corrective Measures, but we are on the home stretch with modern Bruce films. if IMDb is to be believed and that whole future has been just cancelled, which I think is the case, there might only be maybe 3 or 4 Bruce movies left in the canon, and then that's all she wrote. So there you go, corrective measures, see how we go on that one. Another new Umbrella release. This one upgrades a couple of Blue Underground DVDs for me. Retro Horror Double Feature Volume 2, this one. We get Circus of Fear and The Bloody Judge. As I said, they were both on Blue Underground Region 1 DVDs. Don't think they've had Blu-rays before. Nothing that I can think of. Maybe UK Blu-ray or something. I'm not entirely sure. These could be Blu-ray debuts. It's a possibility. Bloody Judge is a Jess Franco film, so you know you can sort of expect some of the things you might expect with Uncle Jesus there. And both of them have got Christopher Lee, of course. So Circus of Fear I remember watching, but I don't actually recall if I actually got to the Bloody Judge. I probably did, but I don't remember much about it. Those Blue Undies DVDs were very, very old. So yeah, nice little twofer. Happy to get this kind of set. They did feel like a pairing of films at the time, even though they're different directors, but you know, they're both Christopher Lee films around that period. So yeah, you also get Klaus Kinski in Circus of Fear. There he is, being very Klaus Kinski. So nice little upgrade. Hopefully the quality is good. It says they're in 235:1 scope. Got DTS track, stereo, no extras to speak of. I don't really care. It's fine. There you go. Circus of Fear and The Bloody Judge HD upgrades. Hopefully they look good. Very affordable disc. I'll give them that too. This was a good film. I was not too sure what to expect on this. Had a little bit of hype. Intentionally, I didn't watch any trailer. Just didn't. Wasn't sure if I was even going to buy it. I don't know, I just didn't jump into it. I do like Ty West's films, but I don't know. It was announced and I didn't go, oh my god, a new Ty West film. And then we had only a DVD in Australia, and they just made me go, oh god, here we go again. Just Roadshow or whoever's just dumping out DVDs. They can't be bothered with Blu-ray. Just typical. But somebody on one of the Facebook groups was selling the Blu-ray from the States for a good price, and I picked it up. This is X. Nice slipcase as well. Really enjoyed it, actually. Really, really strong. It's an A24 film, so you know, they're that. I don't want to say they're arty or anything. This is not particularly arty film. It's actually quite a small scope film. This. You've got Mia Goth, Jenna Ortega, Brittany Snow, Martin Henderson, and Scott Mescudi, and it's about these group of young folks in 1979 that are filming a porno, essentially, and they end up in, they book out a cabin in the woods, basically, because it's going to be, you know, aesthetically what they need for the movie. And yeah, they film their porno scenes, and the very old man that owns the place, he's pretty weird, and he's got a very old wife who is very alone and very needing of her husband's duties. Yeah, and he can't give them to her. Old people. Anyway, X is really good. It's got some pretty cool kills in it. So it does have sort of a hunt and peck Texas Chainsaw slasher kind of thing going on. And it feels like it actually fits into that world, given the 1979 and the location. It does feel sort of like a Texas Chainsaw kind of movie. There's the inside, exactly the same thing. But I really enjoyed it. The adult scenes were not that adulty. Lots of boobs. I quite enjoyed that. Yeah, if you're expecting it to become an X-rated film, it's not. So, you know, it's an A24 film after all. Anyway, yeah, good one from Ty West. I recommend it. X. Just Australian DVD. I don't know. Got a couple of Shout exclusives. Now these are an absolute pain to get in Australia. Scream Factory, Shout Factory do not ship directly. So when they do one of these only through their website, limited to 1,000 or 1,500 copy things, I just roll my eyes every time if I want to get the title, because it's just, I've got to go get a few mates together. We've got to find someone in the States that's going to collect them for us and then ship them on to us and make it postage worthwhile. It's such a pain. Anyway, I did it again. And it kind of works out okay. If you get 3 or 4 people in on an order, you got a willing person in the States to do it for you, it works out alright. Now I have Watchers 2, which is interesting because I've got Watchers 3 on DVD and I've never seen Watchers 1. I don't even own that. So I do need to get the first watches. It seems to only have maybe a UK DVD. I'm not even sure what the quality's like on that, but this is the first one that hit blue, the second one, which is odd. I mean, I get it, the rights for movies are all over the shop, but it does feel odd sometimes when like the second film comes out on blue and the first and the third or whatever haven't. Not the first time that's happened, it's happened on other films before. But yeah, Watches 2, cool looking monster on there. What year is this? 1990. It's a New Horizons Concorde film, Roger Corman. So like I'm pretty much guaranteed to like it, given everything I've just ticked off there. Roger Corman. I'll read a little bit from the back here. The terrifying Watches saga continues. Well, I haven't seen the first, so whatever. A tale of genetically altered beasts unleashed upon the world. Shadowy government agencies' sinister experiments have resulted in a pair of unnatural creatures. One is benign, super intelligent golden retriever, and the other an inhuman killing machine. And they're linked by a psychic bond. That's going to be fun. Watches 2. Just a simple blue. I do get annoyed at these bloody exclusives though. I don't know. They put out the 9th configuration as an exclusive. Why could that not get... It's the 9th configuration. Why would that not get a wide release? And they stuffed up the spine. It says 9th coin figuration. Good one, Shout. Anyway, Watches 2. Happy to have that. I feel like I should buy the first one on DVD before I crack into them. I haven't even watched the third one. I've had that third DVD for so long. I tripped over it in a shop once going, what the hell? And I don't have the first film. I feel like I should do that, then just watch all 3. Am I right? Should I do that? I probably should do that. And the other one, and I was told off, Extra the Mutilator told me, don't buy it, it's going to be crap. I'm like, yeah, okay, I won't do it. I did it anyway. Meat Cleaver Massacre. Yeah, I know. He said it's boring. I've heard others say it's boring. Boring. This could very well be very boring. I don't know. It's got Christopher Lee in it. I imagine he's in it for about 12 seconds. He stars in this pulse-pounding film where revenge is best served in cold blood. Stars. He is listed first. I bet it's a lie. I bet it's a complete and utter lie. I don't know, we'll find out. Professor of the Occult experiences a shocking tragedy where the Destroyers, it's written in quotes, a group of murderous students who fail to believe his tales of the Dark Forces, Dark Force Entertainment, brutally attack him and his family and leave them to die. Now in a deep coma and only the survivor of the assault, he calls upon these demonic forces beyond the world of the living to grant him vengeance on those who took everything from him. He's got to spend the whole movie in a coma, isn't he? That's how they get around it. Put him in a bed. Anyway, there you go. Meat Cleaver Massacre. It's from 1977, goes for 85 minutes. So look, if you bore me in 85 minutes, then you're doing a bad job. Hopefully you don't. That's all I ask for. Just entertain me. It's got a cool cover. See how we go. 1977. New Mondo. I only got one from the last batch. They didn't really all excite me. This one did though. Hotel Fear. This is a 1976 giallo that I've not seen. And it's an interesting description for this one. It's Spanish-Italian co-production, and is in Spanish and Italian audio options with English subtitles. So that's interesting to get both languages as choices. I assume that's 2 tracks. But it takes place in Italy towards the end of World War II, and I can't think of other giallo that do that. And you read it, and I won't go through it all because there's 4 paragraphs here, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be a giallo until it says, after a vicious rape, a person disappears and makes a call for someone to avenge her. The call is answered when the guests die violently at the hands of a masked, gloved killer. Giallo. So there you go. Who is really this mystery assassin? Or is she just losing her grip on reality? So there you go. Hotel Fear, red case edition, flip cover. You get disc. You get booklet with an essay by Robert Curti. Take a quick look in there. Just some text and images about the film. It's about the film, is it? Presumably it's all about the one film. And you get some postcards, a whole bunch of them. The next one's got boobs, so I won't be showing you that. And yeah, keen to check this one out. I love discovering all these giallo that I've just never heard of or seen. Not sure if it had a DVD. It possibly did have a DVD. But yeah, Hotel Fear is not one that I'm aware of. So there you go. Really, really cool. Another Mondo exclusive. Nice one. The stuff coming up in the next batch looks like I might get more than one. We will see, we will see. I got a bunch of cheapies next. There's a small distributor, a little Facebook run only shop called Blind Dead. They're based in Melbourne, I think. And it's just this one guy, and I think he's a combination of selling stock and selling his collection that he doesn't want. So it's a mix of things. Very small scale operation, but he does these deals. And I couldn't say no to this. I went back and did 3 deals in the space of the time it's taken me to get to this update. And that's pretty good. And he ships them all tracked, and it's just bargain basement stuff. So everything I'm going to show you here was between $8 and $10, and the shipping was free. So keep that in mind. For Australians, that's really cheap. And actually I'm lying, because the first title wasn't from him, but the rest are. The first one here, I got a trade on another group, but it was the same price as $8. This is Rising Sun, Sean Connery and Wesley Snipes film from 93. Now, it's been eons since I've seen this. One of the very first DVDs I ever got was this film. So I've not seen this since, we'll just say 2000, maybe 99. The DVD, I think it might have come with my DVD player, my old Toshiba. I remember I got Sphere, I got Lethal Weapon 4, I got The Right Stuff, and I got this film. I think they were the 4 films. And they've all been upgraded except for this one. And this Australian Blu-ray is actually kind of challenging to find these days. Someone was selling it on the group. So it was, I think, $5 and $3 shipping or something. So $8 total, really good. These older Fox titles with that blue backing, that's the best way to describe it. Like, they're quite early Blu-ray. Yeah, 2007. This is first year Blu-ray stuff. You know, when they put Blu-ray technology takes you to the future, like when they got all this junk on it. Actually, kind of challenging to find the Australian ones now. There's a few movies like this that are pretty hard to find. So yeah, happy to get this one. An interesting film from memory. It's a Michael Crichton thing, so it's more of a thriller than an action film, but as a underground world of futuristic technology and ancient ways, Japanese ways, confusing loyalties. It's an interesting film anyway. So there you go. Rising Sun, nice little upgrade there. This was also a nice little upgrade, just turning the 3 DVD pack into a 3 Blu-ray pack. Jaws, 3 movie collection. Didn't get an Australian Blu-ray, these ones, I don't think, in a pack. You can get them individually, but I could be wrong. But anyway, this is the US pack. Again, it was $8 for the 3 films. So, you know, they progressively get less and less good. We all know about Jaws for the Revenge. But look, I'm all about having tidy little sets like this with franchises that complete. So I've got Jaws 1 in a nice media book edition, and then, yeah, happy to have 2, 3, and 4 in this kind of set. And yeah, like I said, it's you know, you get Jaws 2, Jaws 3, Jaws Revenge. That's all you need. Don't need anything more luxurious for that. So yeah, fun, and then progressively less and less fun, but whatever. There you go. The Jaws second trilogy, I suppose. There you go. Good stuff. Happy with that. This was one of those upgrades, and I know it's got a better edition in a steelbook. I don't really care, but when these came out, the Roger Cormans came out, I was buying a lot of them on DVD for some reason. I don't know why. I think I convinced myself that because some were DVD only and some were Blu-ray and DVD, you know, let's just make them uniform. I'll get them all on DVD. I don't really think that way anymore. I want the quality. So it was a silly decision. But anyway, Battle Beyond the Stars was one of those. I bought it on the DVD edition at the time. Cheap upgrade, $8 for the US Blue. Battle Beyond the Stars, Roger Corman, classic. Lots of big fun film. Obviously, it's a Star Wars rip-off type thing, and all the footage from Battle Beyond the Stars has been used. Roger is the art of reuse, man. He has got the space fight sequence from this movie and reused it in countless things. It shows up in probably at least half a dozen films that he's done. Yeah. It's a great film. It's fun. It's family friendly, like it's a PG kind of thing. And yeah, I've got it on blue. And yeah, I know the steelbook I think might have a slightly better transfer or something, but whatever. This is fun. Nice addition. Yeah, happy to have the upgrade. And I'm really happy about it because when I went to find the DVD to put it in the trade box, I can't find it. It is not where it should be. So either I've lent it out and never got it back, or it's fallen behind a shelf somewhere and covered in spider webs. I don't know. But I can't find it, so there you go. Blu-ray, Battle Beyond the Stars. This one. Remember, these were all $8. $8, like, just ridiculous anyway. This is the 88 Vault number 9 release of Dead Time Stories. Anthology horror, sort of creep show kind of thing. Haven't seen this one before. It even mentions creep show on the back here. In the creepy compendium style of creep show comes Dead Time Stories. It's from 1986, collection of stories with teeth and torment that are sure to send chills down your blah blah blah. Sleazy and shocking pack of splatter fairy tales, contemporary spin on Little Red Riding Hood, with gore aplenty, sick humour, and enough splattered limbs to make for a late night viewing. And yeah, well, there you go. Cool. Dead Time Stories. Never seen it. 2 covers. That's actually a really cool cover. I didn't notice that one. Sort of a splattery kind of thing going in there. That's nice. Quite like that. It's also on the disc. Yeah, I don't know much else to say about that. It's just an anthology horror from the 80s that I have never seen on Blu-ray. It probably has a US disc too. I think Shout might have done one from memory, but you know, there you go. Very cool. Dead Time Stories. This film. Now, I bought the DVD of this, the UK DVD, I think when it came out, because I was a big Cradle of Filth fan at the time. I'm not so much now. And I'm like, wow, Danny Filth's in a movie? This has got to be great. Oh, it's a horror movie. Holy shit. And I got the Blu-ray, Cradle of Fear. I got rid of the DVD because that movie was not very good. At least that's what my mind tells me when I watched it in 2001. It has been 21 years since I've seen this film. Who knows? Look, for $8, I will check it out again on Blu-ray. It's in a black case and everything. And you know, I know a little bit more about the director now. You know, having watched the Video Nasties documentaries. You know, he's in that, and so is Emily Booth. She was in that. So you know, Danny Filth's always a bit of a laugh. I'll check it out again. I don't remember it being very long, which is always a good positive sign. Does it even have the thing on here? 125 minutes. I take that back. It's an eternity. Is that right? 2 hours? Oh, maybe that was the problem. Maybe it's Cradle of Sleep. I don't know. We'll find out. But I remember it being pretty poor quality acting and some gore. So look, whatever. It's fine. I'll check it out one dark and stormy night. It's in widescreen. I'll read the back. Notorious child murderer Kemper. I think that was Danny. Hell-bent on exacting his revenge on the people who put him away. And from his padded room in the local asylum, he commands the man to slaughter the families of those responsible. No, I think Danny was the man. Detective Nielsen, who had his own unpleasant run-in with Kemper, is faced with an increasingly large pile of mutilated bodies and tries to make some sense of the savagery. See, that doesn't ring a bell to me at all. Absolutely nothing. Except for I remember just Danny Filth sort of ominously walking around. Don't think he had dialogue. I think he was just killing. Anyway, we'll check it out again. Cradle of Fear. Had an Australian DVD as well. I think Umbrella, one of their early ones. The Dark and the Wicked. Got this one again. $8. This is quite good. I quite like this one. Modern horror. Director of The Strangers. I'll read a little bit from the back. I watched this a few nights ago. Secluded farmer man is bedridden and fighting through his final breaths while his wife slowly succumbs to overwhelming grief. Siblings Louise and Michael return home to help. It doesn't take long for them to see that something's wrong with Mum, something more than her heavy sorrow. Gradually they begin to suffer a darkness similar to their mother's, marked by waking nightmares and a growing sense that evil is taking over their family. It progresses along and gets more and more dark and messed up, kind of like Paranormal Activity does, but it's not a shot on video film kind of thing or whatever POV thing. It's a real film, but it just sort of progresses like that. You know, it goes through each day, and each, you know, it'll say it on screen Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and they wake up and they go through the day, and it just gets worse each day, just like Paranormal Activity did. I thought it was quite strong, quite good film, good horror scenes, good use of some horror tropes in it. So yeah, quite a fun one. It's a Shudder film. Actually has the Shudder logo on it. Doesn't have the Shudder at the top there, so that's interesting. It must have been, did this predate the Shudder range? 2020. This might have predated the Shudder Blu-ray range. So anyway, Dark and the Wicked, yeah, quite good. Give that one a go. $8, bloody hell. The Woman, 2-disc edition. This thing's out of print and it has a slipcase. $8. This was shrink wrapped. Like, all of this shit was new. I didn't mention that. Maybe 1 or 2 were used, but the Jaws was used. Everything else had shrink wrap on it. This is The Woman from Lucky McKee. Lucky McKee did a fantastic movie called May. That was one of my favourite 2000s horror films. The Woman had a DVD on Monster Pictures, and I never got around to it. Now I've got a Blu-ray. The good thing about this edition is you get a second film called Offspring. So yeah, Offspring and The Woman. I think Offspring is clearly by the same director, I'm sure. That was the whole point. But this was reissued with just one disc. So this edition you get the woman and you get Offspring. So yeah, 2-disc edition, very cool. You get a booklet and it's like a promo card here for Exorcist 3 with their edition coming out. Booklet about the film. That is the Australian DVD cover, essentially. So I'll read a little bit from the back, because I did not get around to watching this one. The woman is the last surviving member of a deadly clan of feral cannibals that has roamed the American wilderness for decades. When successful country lawyer Chris Cleek stumbles upon her while hunting in the woods, he decides to capture and civilize her, that's in quotes, with the help of seemingly perfect all-American family. And I think you know that that's not going to go down well, and it looks like she's going to try and eat them. That sounds good to me. That's the woman with bonus film, the Offspring. Plenty of features and stuff here, like it's absolutely chockers. So like, it even weighs a ton. The postage on this. Anyway, look, so cheap. The woman 2-disc edition with the Offspring. Next one, Chill Factor. No idea about this one. This was just like another, oh, that's an Arrow, I'll chuck it in. I don't know why I didn't have this. Maybe I talked to somebody and they said it was rubbish, so I decided not to get it, or at least pay full price. But again, I'm paying the price of a single beer and I get this film. That's fine. I can do that. Chill Factor, yeah, what year is this? 89? So yeah, 80s horror. Exorcist meets the Winter Olympics. We'll see if that's the case. Tale of demonic possession and snowbound slashing from director Christopher Webster, who's the producer of Hellraiser and Hellraiser 2. Yeah, good pedigree. A group of young couples snowmobiling weekend turns into a waking nightmare when, following a daring race, one of their number is thrown from the vehicle, knocked unconscious. Seeking refuge in a nearby abandoned summer camp, this group finds itself held up in a cabin filled with bizarre and ominous religious artifacts. As night falls, the discovery of a Ouija board, here we go, amidst the dusty relics awakens a terrifying evil. There you go. Chill Factor, there's a snowmobile there. Has another artwork which is cool. It's a custom one. I actually quite like it. There you go. Guy getting caned in the head with a, what is that? I don't know, some kind of ice stick. Maybe so, yeah, frosted piece of ice. You can better see there on the disc. And yeah, you get just a piece of cardboard promotional thing. There you go, Chill Factor. Don't know much about it. 89 slasher in the snow. Sounds fine to me. Give it a go. And lastly, oh man, knock this one off on the feeling a bit naughty for having not checked this out. Yeah, I can't believe I hadn't done that. Anyway, When a Stranger Calls. Had never seen this movie. Very silly of me. I didn't pick up the deluxe box set. Don't know why. It just didn't happen. Came out through what's the name? Second Sight Films. They did a box set 3 years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, probably 3. Yeah, this is the reissue, and it's got everything that I want anyway. You get When a Stranger Calls, and what I didn't realise when I picked this up for $8 is it has a sequel, When the Stranger Calls Again. Well, Stranger Calls Again or Stranger Calls Back? Stranger Calls Back, and it's in HD, so you get both films. There's the other disc there. It's got reverse cover that's got that on it, but I kind of like this more simple poster. And I watched it and I thought it was really good. It's strong at the start, strong at the end, and it is pretty decent through the middle. It takes a bit of a side journey, and like it all connects up. It makes sense, but I thought the beginning and the ending was stronger. But it's basically a crazy guy. It starts off with a crazy guy. Well, you don't know that. It just starts off with a woman that's a babysitter. She's babysitting, obviously. She at the house, phone rings, and it just says, "Have you checked on the children?" And that's the line of the film. And he just keeps getting this phone calls back 4 or 5 times saying, "Have you checked the children yet?" Keeps going, and she ends up calling the cops. And anyway, that all goes bad. Then it flashes forward 7 years, and we're onto a different actress now and a different journey going on there with another woman that's getting, annoyed by a certain person, and you learn it sort of becomes sort of police procedural a bit. You learn that this serial killer from the opening 7 years ago has escaped from jail, and they're trying to find him, and she gets involved, and it all goes back to the start with the original actress at the end gets involved. So anyway, it's a good film. Really enjoyed it, and a few issues that I had. I might watch it again and see what I think. Knowing what to expect from that middle bit, which was quite different. And the second film, now, a lot of people have told me the second film is just as good. It's shot in full screen. It was a made-for-TV film, but apparently it's just punchier, just sort of faster pace. Does the same thing, but it's just faster pace. So that might be more to my taste as well. So yeah, we'll check it out. Really cool. When a Stranger Calls. And I nearly forgot to show this again. I forgot to show it in the last update. I nearly did it this time. I remembered just in time. Wormwood Apocalypse, the second Wormwood film. I absolutely love Wormwood. I am very proud that Australia produced such an awesome indie zombie film, zombie comedy, but it doesn't, I almost hate that term, zombie comedy, because people think of Zombieland, and I hate that friggin' movie so much. But Wormwood Apocalypse, the sequel to Wormwood, it follows the same storyline. It's just I think it's a couple of years later. It doesn't really tell you how much later it is, but it's after the first film. It has the original cast from the first film. I don't want to give too much away if you've not seen the first Wormwood, but the recurring cast come back in, but they're not the initial focus of the film. They do come back in at a point. There's enough of them. I'm not saying it's a bait and switch. It's not all a bait and switch. But you get different starting actors on this one. I really don't want to give too much away, but yeah, Wormwood is a zombie comedy, very actiony, very Mad Max and zombies mixed film. Very Australian, lots of Australianisms in the way they speak and the way they act. That's why I love it so much. Has a really good cast in this one. Obviously Bianca Brady, she's in this, and the new actresses are good in this one too. It's got some serious gore and violence in this. There is, I'm finding it hard to speak about because I'm going to give too much away. I don't want to do that. If you liked the first film, you're going to like the second film. If you have not seen the first film, go and see the first film. Wormwood is a really good zombie film. One of my favourites of the last sort of 10 years or so. The second one gives me everything I want from a sequel. I had no problems with anything that happened in this movie. It was just great. And I hope they get the financing for the third one. So you got Wormwood Apocalypse. Check it out. On to the second pile now. We've got some fancy ones in slip cases and boxes. The first two from Cauldron Films. These two, Cauldron and the one after, had held up at Diabolic DVD for quite some time because the Cauldrons were quite delayed. But anyway, here we go. Murder in a Blue World. This is a film that I knew by its other title, but I've never seen, Clockwork Terror. There was a UK VHS of this film called Clockwork Terror, and I briefly had it. I was given it once, and I still never got around to watching it, but at least I knew what the thing was. But it's released here as Murder in a Blue World. I'm not too sure why. Maybe that was the official title, but anyway. It's got Chris Mitchum in it, so that's why I'm here. In a violent dystopian consumer-fed future, David, that's Chris Mitchum, blackmails nurse Anna, that's Sue Lyon, from Stanley Kubrick's Lolita, after witnessing her commit a murder. When Anna and Victor is Jean Sorel from Perversion Story, the Fulci film, discover David is a known gang member with an extensive criminal past, they make a plan to turn the tables and use him for their own clandestine purposes. There you go. So A Clockwork Orange was from the 71. This is A Clockwork Terror, kind of a rip-off kind of thing, from Spanish genre director Eloy de la Iglesia, and it is beautifully shot future world, apparently. Clockwork Terror. Let's take a look inside. Looking forward to checking this one out, just because I do have that little bit of knowledge about it. But yeah. Reinventing Lolita in a Blue World. Ooh la la. There's the book, and nasty throat cut, and lots of nice photos in this one. Oof. Can I show that? You have to show that. Yeah, there's some stuff. There's Chris Mitchum. And yeah, reversible cover. There you go. Really cool. Same as the book. So yeah, Murder in a Blue World, aka Clockwork Terror. This is number 8 in the series. I'm not collecting them all intentionally. I'm not doing that this time because they did a few modern films I wasn't that interested in. And look, I just, with the exception of Vestron and the 88 Films Shaw Brothers line, I think they're the only ones that I'm in for a penny and for a pound on the spine numbers. But you got Murder in a Blue World, Cauldron Films. And the next one, another great upgrade, this one. I think a lot of people were waiting for this one for some time. It has had numerous DVDs. It had I think it was a Blue Underground DVD. It had a Shameless DVD with a fantastic cover. Finally, first time on Blu-ray, Contraband, Lucio Fulci's Eurocrime film. Most well known for that scene. Puts in the gun and then out the back. I really dig this one. It doesn't make a great deal of sense. It's got some flaws because Fulci, you can say it doesn't make a great deal of sense about a lot of Fulci films, really, especially on the first couple of viewings. You can dig into the beyond and start to tell yourself you understand what's going on. I'm not entirely sure I've ever fully understood it. I still love it though. Also called the Napoli's Connection. But if you've not seen Contraband, an idealistic cigarette smuggler, Luca, runs into problems when a sadistic drug-dealing gangster from France decides to muscle his way into the operation. So it's competing mafia-type deals. As he tries to wipe out the competition, all hell breaks loose, bodies start piling up. Luca joins forces with rival smugglers and the local mafia to counteract the power play, which only increases the body count into the explosive gunpowder and gut-busting conclusion. There is some gut-busting in it because it's Lucio Fulci. It's a good fun film. It stars Fabio Testi. And it's got some interviews, archival interviews, new interviews, commentary track from Bruce Holochek. Troy Howarth does a lot of exploitation books. So yeah, cool. Very happy to have Contraband on a Blu-ray upgrade. Haven't checked it out yet. I actually only watched the DVD maybe a year ago, maybe not even that, maybe about 9 months ago. I just felt like watching it again. Then the Blu-ray came out, so there you go, Contraband. Very cool. And oh man, this became a meme almost. We've been waiting so long for this one. The Farmer. That's what I mean by meme. It was supposed to come out from Code Red, and then Dark Force were trying to get Code Red to do it, and then so Bill Olsen spent all this time saying no one's going to buy it. 16 people are going to buy it. Why bother it? I owe $70,000 on this film. Why bother releasing it? And this could all be factual. I don't know. But then his brother Walt just went nut and released it on Scorpion, and that's caused a bit of a rift between them. And of course, the Demon from Dark Force is playing with that rift quite a bit in their live videos. But it doesn't matter. We have The Farmer on Blu-ray in HD. This is a very obscure film. I'm not too sure what kind of releases it's had. It might have had like a VHS. It might have had nothing. Very well could have had nothing. Could have just been one of those ones that people remember seeing at the cinemas in 1977. It has not been seen since then until now. Well, that's probably it. There was some really dodgy looking copies floating around that looked like they were from like telecine prints or something. Someone's held a camera at a screen, like really dodgy prints. This is not a dodgy print. This looks fantastic. So from that merit alone, very happy to have it. But I haven't watched the film yet. I know my buddy Extro saw it. I think he gave it something like a right down the middle 5 out of 10, and it was borderline for him. But I might enjoy it more. It sounds kind of interesting, and certainly the notoriety behind it, but just to get its release out is worth checking out anyway. So there's so much texture on the back. Where do I want to start? At the end of World War II, soldier Kyle Martin returns to his family farm in Georgia. Back home in the southern USA, Kyle discovers that the local banks wants to foreclose on his family's farm. Kyle then saves the life of a local gambler from a burning car accident and is rewarded $15,000 delivered by his girl. And however, that was done enough to pay the bank for the farm. So when he gets blindsided for past posting on a horse race, not too sure what that means, must be illegal betting, run by a local gangster, oh dear, it's all going to go to hell, and his local thugs, he offers Kyle the money he needs to save the farm in return for killing the gangsters one by one. It's a bribe film. There you go. The Farmer, do look forward. I am looking forward to checking this one out. There's the inside disc. Jeez, he just keeps using the same artwork over and over. Which, look, if the film is so obscure that it's just disappeared from just like existence, then I don't expect them to have many assets to work with, I suppose. So, will you get in there? God, some of these slips are so painful. This is like a VSA slip. Okay, there we go. The Farmer. Looking forward to finally checking it out, despite the label wars going on to release the thing. Next up, we have a Eureka release here of Revolver. This is a Sergio Solima film. Obviously, you've got Fabio Testi in this thing, and I haven't seen Revolver. This one is one that's completely missed me before. It missed me in the past from any DVD release. Oliver Reed in this as well. So yeah, just some Eurocrime that I am going entirely blind on this one. It's good to have Oliver Reed in this one. Fabio Testi's great in everything that I've seen him in. I really can't say much about it. It's on the Eurocrime. Great poster on that one. I love the Italian art. Really good. There's the disc and the booklet. So when the Eurocrime mood strikes me, this could very well be the next one to put on. I was in the Eurocrime mood about 2 months ago, and I was watching all those media books. Watched quite a few in a row. Not in the Eurocrime mood at this exact moment, but it always comes around. It's cold now, like I'm wearing a jacket. It's horror time right here. That's what it is right now. So yeah, Revolver, a little bit from the back here. After directing spaghetti westerns, The Big Gun Down and Face to Face and Run Man Run, Sergio Solima directed 2 crime thrillers in the Poliziotto, I can never say that word, Polizioteschi genre. Polizioteschi, that sounds like an Aussie trying to say Italian words. The name given to violent action-packed Italian crime, blah, 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 blah. And this is presented here as the second, Revolver, starring Oliver Reed and Fabio Testi. Kidnappers have snatched the wife of Milan's top prison warden, Oliver Reed, and demand the release of an inmate, Fabio Testi, as ransom. When the warden allows his prisoner to escape, the two become trapped in deadly conspiracy that reaches from the halls of government to the bullet-ridden city streets. Can an obsessed lawman and escaped convict survive the force of corruption as well as each other, or does the ultimate law of society belong to the Revolver? There you go. Bit of Eurocrime, nice Eureka edition there. They always do good work. Full of special features. English subtitles for the Italian audio track. It has, I think, an English audio track as well. Commentary, interview with Stephen Thrower. That's going to be fun just by itself. More interviews, archival interviews, the booklet, all kinds of good stuff. So there you go. Revolver. When the mood takes me, I will pop that one in. This one was one that I didn't think the mood was going to take me, and I just thought, no, look, this is an obscure one. I'm going to put it in there. And I really enjoyed this film. It's pretty different, I think, from the kind of thing that I usually watch. It feels like a sword and sandals epic, but it's really a sword and sorcery thing. Yeah, this was a strange one, but I thought it was really good. Ilya Muromets, I think it's also called Sword and the Dragon. Is that the name? Yeah, Sword and the Dragon. This is a Russian film from. I'll actually take it off so I can read something back. Russian film from 1956. 1956. There's the other title. Sword and the Dragon. So I didn't really know what to expect. All I'd really seen with this one was these cool photos on the back here, which showed it looked like a pile of bodies and a guy on top, and then this sort of creature feature face over there, and then a giant dragon. I'm like, wow, this is pretty good. 50s style. You know, I figured it was, going to be, Ray Harryhausen kind of stuff. And look, I'm halfway right with that. It's definitely got the Ray Harryhausen effects and that kind of thing. But this has got a big scale to it. Really big Russian epic scale. It's all in Russian, has English subtitles, and it's set around about 1,000 years ago, but sort of a fantasy version of 1,000 years ago. So in that early Russia, what do they call it? Rus, when different borders geographically. My history is terrible, but Ukraine, Russia, Finland, it was all different geography back then. And you've got it's old Russian culture, exactly. And it's basically 2 warrior clans is what's going on here. You've got the more refined kings and castles, and then you've got the sort of Mongols kind of thing, and it's your standard sword and sorcery kind of thing. Pull the big sword out of the rock and all that kind of deal, but it's got that 50s kind of, like it's got 3 songs in it that are, like, I don't want to say it's not a musical. I was worried it was going to be a musical, but there's 3 songs in it that are they're of length enough that it's intentional part of how films were done then. You know what I'm saying? Like it's got musical pieces in it. Look, it was quite weird. You didn't really know what was going to come up next. Some of it was a little bit disjointed. But look, really enjoyed it. I gave it a solid 3.5 out of 5. I think that is a really good score for it. It looked fantastic. It sounded great. A little bit propagandary, got to be said. There's a lot of, Hail Mother Russia, but look, all the American military films I watch have got the same amount of flag waving, so whatever. Ilya Muromets, Sword and the Dragon. Really, really good, but I think unfortunately it's completely sold out. They sold out the slipcase edition first, and then the regular case one just went like minutes later, so who knows, maybe they'll do another repress of it. Beautiful art on it. But yeah, if you do see it around, there's an old DVD I think as well, so there's options. But yeah, Ilya Muromets, Sword and the Dragon. Very interesting film. Next one. VHS upgrade. I love a VHS that skips DVD and goes straight to Blu-ray. And I love it especially too when I have a VHS and it's worth some money, and somebody I know says to me, I will give you a lot of money for that VHS, and I'm like, but then I won't have the movie. Oh, alright, I do like money, and then I sell the VHS, and then for a period of time I have no movie. And then they announce a Blu-ray of a movie that just shouldn't get one. It's ridiculous. Game of Survival. This is a really cheap post-apocalyptic kind of like Deadly Prey versus Mad Max kind of thing. That's basically the Australian VHS kind of had that cover artwork, a little bit different. I liked it because it was so cheap and cheesy. Now the things on Blu-ray are just whatever, ridiculous. It is was it shot on 8mm or 16mm or something? Super 8 camera, right? So it's shot on Super 8 and they've done a 4K scan. So look, it's not going to look like Ilya Muromets over there. It's going to look like it does. That's fine. It's the best it's ever going to look. It's Super 8. 7 criminals, prisoners and slaves are sent down to Earth to hunt for the ball, in quotes, and hunt each other for it. The all-powerful creatures who rule the galaxy watch these games of survival for sport. The winner of the games will be granted their freedom. Which of these 7 deadly men will secure the ball and survive until noon? It's a lot of fun. Even mentioned Battle Royale on the back there. It kind of is sort of Battle Royale, but way before that thing came out. It was shot on Super 8 for $10,000 by college graduates. That's pretty good. I remember the film being really good fun. I mean, it's obviously cheap and nasty, but it was good fun. And now we have this ridiculous edition. So this came out through Culture Shock, who distribute through Vinegar Syndrome. So I guess the way that works is VS helped them do the scans and the box arts and that kind of thing. I think that's how it works, because all these fit in nicely with Vinegar Syndrome. So there you go. Really happy to have this obscure sci-fi action film. Bizarre, the golden age of cinema we are in. Scared to death. There were 2 films that I think could have been in this batch's releases. This had 2 titles that were secrets. 2 titles. They always do that. The halfway to Thanksgiving sale has 2 secret titles, and I thought, no, look, I like the things that they've announced, so I'm going to get the whole bundle. And I did. And there were 2 secret titles. One of them I'm not showing because I put it in the box to sell. It's the rock opera, space alien rock opera or something. I watched the trailer. The trailer looked terrible. Really terrible. Other people have received it, they get all the Vinegar Syndrome titles and they've gone, what the hell is this? That's enough for me to know that I don't need to watch it. I've left it sealed. It is gone into the sale box. I can't even remember the name of it. I don't know. Rock Aliens or something. It looks nasty, but the other film, it was either going to be this film, or I was kind of hoping it might be Blood Beach, because it was kind of The Clues gave it a similar, era and style. But anyway, happy with this too. Scared to Death. Also got Scared to Death Sinjanor as a sequel. I think it might have been like in the 90s, a sequel called Sinjanor as well. So it gets confusing. Some of the DVDs have... The DVD for this one has Sinjanor in big writing and then Scared to Death in small writing. And then there's the Sinjanor sequel. So it was very confusing on DVD. Now, when I watched this on DVD as Scared to Death, I did not actually enjoy it very much. But I'm very much willing to give it another go because so many people do love this one. And it should be one I like, so maybe I was just in a bad mood. And now in HD and Vinegar Syndrome love, it's not the first time that a nice print has convinced me that I was wrong. 1980 film. And I'll read a little bit from the back. Ted Longeran thought he had to quit the force to pursue a career as a writer, but then when someone or something begins stalking, viciously killing the residents of Los Angeles, Ted is asked to lend his expertise in uncovering the mystery assailant. However, things aren't as simple as they appear. Ted discovers the predator he's after is in fact a first of its kind, rapidly evolving, genetically mutated organism known as Sinjanor! Scared to Death. The sequel, was kind of cheap. It was, very much 90s. Almost like made for TV cheap. I kind of liked the sequel, but whatever. I had that on VHS. I don't think there's any other copy. Might be a DVD, I don't know. There you go, 2-disc edition. You get a bunch of bonus features, which has a previously restored alternate version of the film. That's cool. Newly scanned in 4K from the 16mm. Commentary, Rise of the Sinjanor, brand new making of documentary. That'll be interesting. Check that one out. Locations of Scared to Death featurettes with William Malone, who's the director. Dracula Party, Scared to Death music video. Oh god, don't need that. But anyway, very cool. As I said, I'm willing to give it another go. I have a feeling I will probably like it on rewatch because it does tick all the boxes of something that I should like. Next up, we have a double feature release. This one is Stanley and Horror High. Now, these films are not generally well thought of. They both had DVDs on Code Red. And Stanley, I don't recall. I might not have actually got around to it. But I did watch Horror High, and I remember I did enjoy it. So, happy to pick up the Blu-ray. And definitely check out the films again. So, Stanley and Horror High. Why are they a double? They're the same director. William Grief and... is it? No, it's not. Larry Stauffer did Horror High, and William Grief did Stanley High, so I'm not entirely sure why these are double. Early 70s independent filmmakers based in American South. Maybe that's why, just because of the location and the years. You go, oh, that's cool. I did not notice this. The reverse cover's got sort of the DVD drive-in feature thing. I didn't realise that was on there. That's like some of the early DVDs had that artwork. That's kind of neat. Anyway, pop that back in there. So, Stanley and Horror High. Stanley's about a killer snake, essentially. That's what I recall about that one. But Horror High, 1973, bespectacled chemistry nerd Vernon Potts is the target of non-stop bullying from his fellow students and teachers alike, with only true friend being the class guinea pig. That's so sad. Mr. Mumps, that's even sadder. While conducting an experiment using Mr. Mumps as a test subject, Vernon discovers a formula that turns the harmless creature into a snarling beast. After being caught, he drinks the formula himself, transforming into a bloodthirsty killer and becoming a brutally slaying all those that wronged him. There you go. So double feature between Stanley and Horror High. And Stanley, as I said, sort of killer snake. It's cashing in on the Animals Attack movies, and Grizzly and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. I'm going to check them out again. Stanley I've never seen, but I have seen Horror High, so there you go. It's a nice addition to it. It's all embossed. Vinegar Syndrome, they get you with the boxes if anything else, so there you go. Horror High and Stanley. This one I chucked in after the fact as a sale item because it was marked down, and I thought, oh look, it's like $16 or something. It was really, really cheap. I thought, why not? I'll give these a go. This is the Bloodorama triple Frightmare. Nice looking. I love the poster. The cover here, it's sort of like zoomed in on a really grubby looking film negative. So that's neat. But inside, shows you what you get. It's actually an AGFA or AGFA release that they've done the slip for. So you get Help Me I'm Possessed, Night of the Strangler, Carnival of Blood. Now that had a Palace Explosive VHS out here, so that was what sort of intrigued me. I know I'm going to get some very cheap drive-in horrors here from the 70s. Help Me I'm Possessed, 1974, Freeform Nightmare that takes place in a sanitarium. Freeform, oh my god, that means it's going to be completely bonkers. Surrealist Gem, oh my god, so bonkers. Psychopathic Hunchback, Delirious Monsters, and a killer synthesizer score. Oh, it's going to be so bonkers. Night of the Strangler, 1972, a Southern Fried Whodunit with murder, racial tension, and a starring role from the Monkees, Mickey DeLenz, oh my god. Sweat-soaked sleazer feels like a cross between American Giallo and a trashy airport paperback novel. Wow, I love that write-up, that's great. Carnival of Blood, 1970, ominous semi-cinema verite horror movie that was shot at Coney Island in New York City. Carnival of Blood features an early role from Burt Young and Rocky, pop art gore that would make H.G. Lewis proud, and a gloriously seedy atmosphere. So look, 3 films, all cheap 70s things, preserved from the only known film elements. So yeah. Oh, they're from 35mm prints, so they're going to be a bit blemished and look grindhouse, but they're not going to look like VHS, so that's something. There you go. Look, I'm happy to give these a go. Short films, 76, 88, 87, and yeah. When I'm feeling like sitting down and watching a big grindhouse 70s movie binge that of a dubious quality, the Thrillerama will answer that one. This one is not of dubious quality. Vinegar Syndrome, You Are My Heroes. Expect No Mercy. Double art there on the VSA. The third Billy Blank's Jalal Murhi Blu-ray that they've put out. It's just utterly ridiculous that they've done all this. Talons of the Eagle and what was the other one? Of course, just forgotten. Right on top of my head now, just got a friggin' forgotten title. But anyway, Talons of the Eagle is still my favourite, but Expect No Mercy was good fun as well. Possibly the least of the 3. It's a bit crazy. It's the most of its time, right? So this one, I'll pull it out. There's the custom art again. It is shot in 1995 and it feels like 1995. You've got the photos are too hard to show you, though. I think you might be able to see that, but it's virtual reality, and it's that old virtuality kind of thing like Lawnmower Man, where it's really crap, but combining the really crap virtual reality with what it should have been, or what they think it should have been, which is, you know, real people running around in a CG world, and like, oh my god, it is so utterly 1995. But you've got Billy Blanks trained as a deadly agent for an elite police force known as the Federal Security Bureau. After a fellow undercover agent turns up dead, Justin, that's Billy Blanks, is recruited to infiltrate a high-tech martial arts training facility known as the Virtual Arts Academy, because they all train in these virtual reality things, which is kind of a cool idea. And once inside the facility, Justin needs to make contact with another undercover agent, Eric, that's Jalal Murhi, who believes the academy is really a front for a team of hired assassins run by a power-hungry leader, Warbeck. With the fear of covers getting blown, Justin and Eric must face off with the computer-generated components in a series of simulated fights that have real-life consequences. It's gloriously fun, and yeah, it is a combination of real-life fighting and this virtual reality fighting. Another ridiculous addition. The disc is still in the player. I was watching it last night. Get a poster, and it's just utterly insane. I can't believe they do these things. It's just golden age of Blu-ray. The next one, oh my god. The rest of this is just absolutely ridiculous, the stuff I'm about to show. So, I think it was Draft House did a Blu-ray of Miami Connection. Was it a decade ago now? Maybe 8 years? And that film was an obscure one. It was on VHS, they restored it, made it Blu-ray. And it became a second cult classic. It was a cult classic in the 80s, but now it's a super cult classic because it is so utterly funny. It is a proper drinks with your friends film. The dialogue is absolutely spectacularly awful but amazing. Some legitimately good martial arts fights, and then just, you know, the Dragon Sound doing their song numbers and all the outfits and some terrible mustaches. Like, it's everything you want. And now VS have done this ridiculous edition on Blu-ray and 4K. Fantastic artwork there on the front. Dude Designs did amazing work on that. You've got the Dragon Sound artwork on the back. Big thick box this. inside the thick box, you get another edition, the slip cover. With this is a bit more like the Draft House print. There's the back of it. Just keep on going. That's exactly the same as the Draft House artwork one on 4K. This is madness. UHD disc, Blu-ray disc, and a special features. No, Escape from Miami. Escape from Miami edition. So that's all the special features. And I'll read on the back here. This is just mental. I don't want to read about the film. I think I just told you enough about the film, but we'll just go through the special features here. 4K UHD, of course, restored from a new 35mm into positive, so it's even better print than the Draft House disc. A commentary track from Grandmaster Y. Oh my god, Grandmaster YK Kim. Amazing. 2 Blu-ray discs. Blu-ray 1 contains Miami Connection with the commentary, and special features Resurrecting the Dragon, looking back at Miami Connection, extensive and exclusive making of documentary featuring new interviews. You get Jesus, there's a lot here. Friends for Eternity, a making of documentary from 2012. Dragon Sound Reunion 25th anniversary concert of Dragon Sound. So much more stuff, and this too contains Escape from Miami, the original pre-release version of Miami Connection, newly restored in its 35mm into positive. So haven't seen that pre-release version. I might make that one the first one I watch, because I've seen Miami Connection I think 3 times now at various events where I've like tried to destroy some people's minds, but they've all ended up loving it, because this is not like watching Furious. Only I like Furious. Everybody likes Miami Connection. So amazing set, absolutely fantastic. Vinegar Syndrome, amazing. This is ridiculous that this is out as well. So Synapse Films did the cheeky, slightly dodgy release their own Blu-ray of this film as their rights were expiring. And they're probably allowed to do that. I don't know, it just feels so dodgy. The day they released theirs, Vinegar Syndrome announced that their fully legit edition was coming out, so please don't buy that crap, without saying anything about Synapse, because they can't. Anyway, I'm talking about Thriller, Cruel Picture. Very notorious film, with Christina Lindbergh here, and this is an absolutely ridiculous box set. Absolutely ridiculous. You get both cuts, so if you go back to the Synapse DVDs, I mean, I've got to give them their due. The Synapse DVDs were ages ago, and it's what everybody knew. They had 2 editions, the red cover and the yellow cover. The yellow cover was the They Call Her One Eye censored edition, I suppose. It didn't have the hardcore inserts. And then there was the red edition of Thriller, A Cruel Picture, that has the XXX inserts that are of a body double, not of Christina Lindbergh at all. But yeah, this is your classic rape revenge film. I'm not going to go into anything more about it, except for the fact that this edition now exists, 4K. Just people that want to say that physical media is dead, and then you get this stuff. Sure, I can see a future in 5 years where I can't go into JB Hi-Fi and buy the next Avengers film. I also don't care. I can continue to order things like this and have them show up in my house. Thriller, They Call Her One Eye. It has been quite some years. I think I watched the Synapse DVD when it first came out, and I didn't watch it again. It is a slimy picture. Got to be in the mood for Thriller, but I think time has passed enough, and I'm going to chuck this on again, and I'll probably watch the full cut and see a lot of filthy XXX I didn't need to see. But wow, it's a hell of a film. Thriller, A Cruel Picture, and the last one I'm going to show, and it's another ridiculous. Sometimes I don't even understand the films that Vinegar Syndrome put out. It doesn't feel like it's a VS film. It doesn't. It feels more like one of those Severin titles that went on their sort of kids range they were doing for a while there. It's about Cloak and Dagger. So this is an 80s film starring the kid from E.T. and the guy from War Games that runs the Whopper computer. And it is such a mix of those 2 films. Like, it's a lot of War Games in this. It's got that dark sort of, Russian vibe thing going on there. and then the kid from E.T. and his sister being cute kids and trying to solve this, escape these assassins. And then the violence, this is not a PG, they could not do this now and call it a PG film. Like, the kid at one point gets a gun and shoots a guy dead. The kid does. There's blood everywhere. You can't do that anymore. This is a good fun film. Really good fun film. But this box set. Come on, people. Okay, so this is glorious, right? This is glorious. You get the magnetic thing. This is like their Beastmaster box, right? Look at this. Look at that. If you've seen the movie, it's all about this game called Cloak and Dagger, and it's very much Atari game. There's lots of Atari consoles that probably did a deal. And they've made the case here, like that says Ultra 4000, but that's an Atari 2600 box. That's graphic from the game, the actual in-game game. Then you get this thing here. It's even got a stuck on, like, part of the art is the price sticker. I can't peel that off. It's part of the artwork. It's embossed. It's amazing. Take a look in the bottom of the box. There's more to it than just this. You get the booklet. This is just insane amount of stuff. Like, you've got the graphics there, notebook. There's a kid from E.T. Got his name. All stuff about the film. Absolutely ridiculous. Then you get there was a Vinegar Syndrome postcard, and I like this. You get to the bottom, it says Game Over. It is an insane addition for a relatively big film. This is the kind of thing that you would expect, Universal or something, just to put out on one of their just cheap Blu-rays. Like they did with Project X. Even War Games. They don't have luxurious editions like Cloak and Dagger. Anyway, I'm amazed. It's not my favourite of the 80s films. It does feel a little bit disjointed, and it is very jarring at how non-kids film this is. How violent it can be. But it's a good film. It gets better each rewatch as well, and I'm just into the 80s vibe of this thing with all the 8-bit computers. I just love all that stuff. It's so good, so good. Cloak and Dagger, ridiculous edition on Vinegar Syndrome. And that is the last thing in this update, which I think, again, has gone for a very, very long time. So I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please like, subscribe, check out this thing and that thing. And I'll see you next time.